Welcome to the deep dive. As always, our mission here is to really cut through all the noise, look at the sources you've shared, and pull out the absolute key nuggets of knowledge.
That's right.
And today we are diving into a book that honestly shifts perspectives quite a bit. It's Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness.
Yeah, and what's so interesting about this one, it's definitely not your standard finance book.
Right.
Forget the really complex investment formulas or trying to guess market trends. Housel really takes us into the human side of it all.
Human side, okay.
Yeah, the thoughts, the behaviors, the emotions, all those psychological things that actually drive how we earn, save, spend, invest, basically handle our money.
Okay, let's unpack that. So Housel, he used to write for the Motley Fool, the Wall Street Journal, and he seems to have this real knack, doesn't he, for taking these like complicated financial ideas and turning them into stories that just click. They feel human.
Exactly. He makes it relatable. So the psychology of money ends up being, really unique and pretty easy to get into, even if you're not, a finance expert yourself.
Yeah, totally accessible.
And zooming out a bit, the core idea Housel presents is kind of revolutionary for a lot of folks. He basically says financial success. It isn't mainly about your IQ.
Not about being smart.
Or even like traditional financial literacy. It's much, much more about how you behave, your mindset.
Okay.
He argues our brains, they're often wired to make decisions about money that are irrational, maybe biased, driven by emotion. And the book helps us see why that happens.
Okay. So we're kind of setting the stage here to explore some really foundational stuff from this book. It sounds like a mix of, behavioral finance and history.
Yeah, behavioral finance, history, real-life stories, which are super compelling, and even a bit of life philosophy mixed in.
Right. And what's powerful is how he seems to just flip common ideas upside down almost immediately. So let's maybe jump into some of those shifts, starting with that counterintuitive one about intelligence.
Yeah, let's do it. It's a striking point he makes right away. He really challenges this idea that you need a high IQ to do well with money. He says, pretty directly, doing well with money has little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
We spend so much time chasing the complex investment strategy, right? The sophisticated model.
Totally.
But Housel says the real secret isn't some advanced degree or secret tip. It's the incredibly, sometimes boring stuff.
Like what?
Like self-control, patience, being consistent over the long haul, and maybe most importantly, just not making massive mistakes. That really reframes the whole game, doesn't it?
It does. Okay, but hang on. Someone might push back and say, look, you do need some level of financial knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Especially now, markets are complex. How does Housel square that? Does he just dismiss literacy?
That's a fair point. And no, he's not saying knowledge is useless, but he draws a really sharp line between knowing what you should do and actually doing it. Those are two very, very different things.
Oh, that's right. The knowing-doing gap.
Exactly. We might have the information, we might know about compounding, for instance, but then our emotions, our biases, they get in the way.
Like panicking in a market downturn.
Precisely. Or getting greedy in a bubble. So knowing about compounding is one thing. Having the sheer patience to let it work its magic for decades through all the ups and downs, that's purely behavioral.
And that power of compounding, he really emphasizes time, doesn't he? Time in the market.
Oh, absolutely. Not timing the market.
Yeah.
He uses Warren Buffett as the ultimate case study for this.
Right, Buffett. And I think most people assume his wealth is down to some almost mystical investing genius, some secret formula. But you're saying Housel sees it differently.
He does. Housel really hammers home that Buffett's incredible wealth isn't just about being a great investor, though he is. It's about his staggering longevity.
How long he's been doing it.
Exactly. He started as a kid. He's been investing for, over 75 years? It's mind-boggling. The core lesson there is simply staying in the game long enough for that compounding effect to do its quiet work. It's consistency winning over complexity.
Simple, but definitely not easy.
Well.
Because, as Housel points out, everyone's view of money is so incredibly personal, isn't it?
Oh, deeply personal. We make choices based on our own unique lives, our upbringing, the economy we grew up in, someone who lived through the Great Depression. They might be naturally much more cautious with money, even years later. Totally understandable.
Whereas someone who only saw bull markets might be way more comfortable with risk.
Exactly. And Housel puts it perfectly. He says something like, your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.000000001% of what's happened in the world, but maybe 80% of how you think the world works.
Wow. That's powerful.
It really is, and it's a call to be aware of your own biases, because they're strong, and often we don't even see them.
Right. And it's so easy to think we're solely responsible for where we end up financially, good or bad. But Housel throws in this dose of humility, talking about luck and risk. How does he frame that, especially for people who really believe in, hard work paying off?
Yeah, it can be uncomfortable, but it's crucial. He argues it helps prevent you from getting too arrogant when things go well or too despairing when they don't. Housel is really clear. Luck and risk are basically two sides of the same coin. They are intertwined in every single outcome.
Every outcome.
Pretty much. He says luck and risk are siblings. They are both the reality that every outcome in life is guided by forces other than individual effort.
Forces beyond our control.
Right. Timing, where you were born, market crashes, unexpected windfalls, accidents, so much is out of our hands. Understanding that helps you stay humble in success and more resilient when you hit rough patches.
That's a really important shift in perspective. One chapter that really hit home for me was the one on what he calls the goalpost problem.
Ah, yes. Knowing when you have enough.
Exactly. I think we've all felt that, haven't we? That constant pressure to get more, earn more, achieve more, even when maybe, objectively, we're doing okay.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really deep, almost philosophical point about contentment, isn't it? Which is so vital for just, being happy.
Yeah.
That quote, the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. That just nails it. Our desires tend to grow right alongside our income, so enough keeps feeling just out of reach.
If you never define it, you're always chasing.
You're always chasing, yeah.
And this whole idea of enough, of the moving goalpost, it connects directly to another really key distinction Housel makes, one that I think people often confuse.
Let me guess. Rich versus wealthy.
Yeah. Most people probably see those as basically the same thing, right?
They totally do. But Housel draws a very clear line. Being rich, he says, is often about current income, high income. It's visible.
The flashy stuff.
Yeah, the fancy car, the big house, the expensive watch. It's what you show. Yeah. But being wealthy, that's different. It's about freedom.
Yeah.
Security, peace of mind.
And it's often hidden.
Exactly. It's the money you didn't spend, the investments quietly growing, the assets that buy you options and autonomy. He has that famous line, wealth is what you don't see.
That directly challenges that whole consumer culture where showing off equals success.
Completely. People might look rich, but actually have very little underlying wealth, very little freedom.
So if wealth is largely invisible and it's about freedom, what's the ultimate point? Housel argues the best thing money buys isn't more stuff, but control over your time, right?
That's his core argument, and it's profound, I think. Something easily missed when you're just focused on accumulating more. True wealth is about controlling your own schedule, your own life.
Doing what you want with who you want.
Basically, yeah. He says controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. It's a powerful reminder that the real goal isn't just piling up cash. It's gaining autonomy, living life more on your own terms.
And part of getting that autonomy involves something that sounds a bit weird at first. Saving money, but for no particular reason.
Yeah. It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're always told, save for a down payment, save for retirement, save for college, have a specific goal.
Right.
But Housel points out that life is just unpredictable. Unexpected things happen all the time. Job losses, medical bills, maybe a sudden opportunity you want to grab.
Sure.
Having cash saved, just general savings without a specific label, gives you a buffer. It provides flexibility to handle those surprises without completely derailing your financial life or being forced into bad decisions.
So savings as insurance, as optionality.
Exactly. It gives you breathing room. The power to say no sometimes, the ability to pivot when things change instead of feeling trapped.
Okay. And then finally, there's this idea he champions that really resonates with the whole human side theme. Being reasonable with money is often better than trying to be perfectly rational.
Yes, because we aren't spreadsheets, are we? We're human.
We're definitely not robots.
We have emotions, we get tired, we have weird psychological quirks. Housel basically says, create a financial plan you can actually stick with long term, one that feels emotionally sustainable for you.
Even if it's not, like, mathematically optimal on paper.
Right. Maybe paying off your mortgage early isn't the absolute highest return move mathematically, but if it helps you sleep at night, that peace of mind is valuable. It's reasonable.
So the best plan is the one you won't abandon.
Precisely. A reasonable plan you can stick with is far better than a perfectly rational plan that you ditch after 6 months because it feels too strict or just doesn't align with how you actually live and feel.
Makes sense. So this whole deep dive into the psychology of money, it really brings home that main message, doesn't it? Financial success is so much less about complex knowledge.
And so much more about simple behaviors, how you act.
Yeah. And it reinforces that quiet power of compounding over long stretches of time. And that idea that real wealth often isn't the stuff you see.
Definitely. And it's just so important to remember how much our own personal backgrounds, our experiences, shape how we see money. And acknowledging luck and risk, that keeps you grounded.
Right. Keeps you humble when things go well, resilient when they don't. Avoids that arrogance or despair trap. And it really pushes you, the listener, to think about that goalpost problem Housel talks about. That tricky question of figuring out when you actually have enough.
Which, as he suggests, might lead you to realize that the ultimate goal isn't just more, but using money to gain control over your time. That's the highest dividend.
Much more valuable than just luxury.
Way more valuable, in his view. So, thinking about all this, here's maybe a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
If wealth really is about the money you don't see, the freedom it buys, what's maybe one reasonable, remember, not perfectly rational, but reasonable for you financial habit you could start today?
Something to better align your money with what you personally define as, like having enough time, enough peace of mind.
Exactly. Even if it feels a bit unconventional or isn't what the textbooks say is the absolute optimal thing to do.
How might these ideas from the psychology of money maybe shift your own focus?
Yeah.
Moving away from just piling up more towards building a life with perhaps more financial wisdom and actual contentment. Something to think about.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this, please do like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we look forward to having you join us for our next deep dive.